Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you checking in with me, see what I'm up to. I thought I'd make another fitting. We're working on a job where I have to go under some, I think it was a 4-inch sewer pipe. We got to try to move our ductwork underneath that, and then hopefully you'll not be too bored with that. And if you want to know, I'll try to show you the way I do it anyway. I don't know if it's the way everybody would do it, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So let me get this down here where you can see again. I think that's about as low. It's like, how low can you go? Okay. I'm going to get it where you can maybe see the table better. Okay, so what I did is I took a piece of metal here, and sorry guys, try to get it where I can, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Took just a piece of metal, it's just a 1/2-inch sheet of metal. Now I need an 8-inch offset, so that means I need it to drop 8 inches before it goes on through. So all we have to do, this is a 10-inch piece of, remember we were working last time with 10-inch ductwork, 10-inch height. So we're going to work 10-inch height, so we're going to do 10 plus 8 plus a half. Remember, we need our quarter bend on each side. Remember that quarter bend we got to get. So that's what we bend over to attach it. So all you do, you need 8-inch offset. You're going to add 8 inches to your 10.5. And I hope that's not too, not trying to confuse you. Whatever your offset you need, and I'll show you when I get this cut out, it's going to be more clear to you probably. 8, 6, whatever your ductwork is, you have to start with 10.5 for that 1/4-inch bend. So whatever your ductwork is, just add whatever your offset is. We need an 8-inch offset. We're going to measure 18.5. So I got my 18.5 up here. Then we'll come down here on this other end, back you up a little more. I'm going to measure 18.5 here. Actually, I already have that line, but I'm trying to show you how I ended up there. Okay, once you do that, you have your 18.5 height all the way through. We're working with 10-inch duct, right? So we're going to go 10.5 from this top down. From the top down, you're going to measure 10.5. And I know you probably can't see that because it's not. But I'm measuring 10.5 from here down to here. I'm putting a mark along here. That's 10.5. Now on your next 10.5, you're going to go down here. Instead of the top, you're going to measure from the bottom up 10.5. So you're going to turn your square around 10.5. 10.5 this way and make a mark. Okay, now we have 10.5 here, we have 10.5 up here. 10.5 here, 10.5 here, bottom and top. So see, we're transitioning from that down 8 inches to go through to miss some pipes and stuff. So now we're going to take 2 squares. And this is how I do it. You can do it your way, that's fine. There's probably different ways, I'm sure. There usually is. Now, on these 2 squares, we want to keep our 10.5 on this transition. We can't come down here and then bottleneck it down. So we got to keep that 10.5. So what I do is I put the square setting at 10.5 right here. You see if we can get you a little closer so you can see better. 10.5 here, 10.5 here. So I got a 10.5-inch square base, or rectangle, not a square, right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, keeping my 10.5, of course, right there. I'm going to move this to where I can make a line here. I'm going to make a line here. After I got to get that 10.5 in there. So we're going to get it over here. Let's see here. We want to get that right about there would work. Okay, I got 10.5 here. 10.5. 10.5. And when I draw these two lines, then I have my offset. Watch. Come up here, score this one right down to where this starts coming this way. You don't have to go all the way in, you can, but it wouldn't have any purpose. Now, did I do that right? Let's see. Yeah, I just need to bring this on out a little higher. All right, let's change that. If I don't make a mistake and something's wrong somewhere. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. You got to make sure you get all your intersections. We got this up here intersecting with that line, this down here, and this down here. We can even bring this down a little further because we want to come off of that. So let's bring it to 10.5. I didn't bring it high enough the first time, guys. Sorry. So okay, now we got 10.5, 10.5. Everything looks good there. So now we're going to redraw that because I didn't have that high enough to cover that edge. All right, now we're down here. I usually squiggle the one that's wrong so I don't do it again. And then same thing here. Just come up here to here. And there you have it. You got 10.5. We got 10.5 transitioning up, 10.5 this way. You might not be able to see it, but as soon as I cut this, I'll let you see what it looks like. Be right back. Okay guys, so I want to show you something on this cut. Just about got it cut out, but I want to show you, you know, I always knew once, and a lot of new guys, they just starting out fabricating metal, and I just wanted to give you a little tip that the old guy gave me when he was showing me. When you're cutting a piece of metal, one thing, you always want your cut piece on the left. The piece you're cutting out, the smaller piece, always on the left. It's a lot easier than the whole sheet. If I had a whole big sheet here, I wouldn't want to cut my piece off of this end of it. I'd want it down there on the end where I can control it. So small piece on the left, or I mean your cut piece on the left, whatever you're cutting out. And then also when you're cutting, make sure you want to stay on the line, of course, as close as you can, but I don't always stay on the line, but I get close. What I was going to tell you about this, don't let your shears go all the way down. You want to keep them up a little bit. You don't want them down like that when you're cutting, because what you'll do is you'll leave a little notch area where you went down with those shears on every cut. So keep your shears high enough that you're cutting down but not all the way, you know. And I'll show you on this other angle here. Make sure I'm on the right line. Yeah, I'll have to cut that a little more, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to start here. Now when I'm cutting, it may look like it to you, I don't know, but camera, but I'm not going all the way down. I'm leaving those shears up enough that this stays smooth. Otherwise, it would have a notch you would be able to see, and I can show you on the scrap here what I'm talking about. Let me get this cut, and I'll show you on my scrap. Even at the end, I don't close it all the way. I didn't get this all the way cut here. Let me cut this out. Now when I get close to the edge like that, I do that because I don't want to cut into my good piece. But yeah, I'll usually take them points off there so somebody don't get cut with them. Throw them in my trash or my trash metal barrel. But yeah, what I was saying was when you cut, always your small side to the left. Let's see if I was cut that every time I go down like that. See those points? See all those points? That's where my shears went all the way down. That'll make a jagged edge for you. See right there? It'll make a jagged edge for fingers to get cut really easy. Of course, this is sharp anyway, but don't add to it. So every time you go down with your shears, make sure you don't completely go down with your shears all the way. You want to keep them up. Of course, now down the end don't matter. You can see the difference. See if you can see that difference. See the difference on that. I can hold it right for you. You have all these points, all these jagged edges I was telling you about right here where I dropped those, where I closed the shears all the way. And then you have your smooth, where we finished up smooth. Sorry guys, I hope you can see that. Yeah, anytime you're using shears, don't close them all the way. Keep them up high enough to get you a smooth cut. We're going to save that for some more hangers that we need to make. Fold your points up, keeps injuries down. Get a sharp point like that on a piece of metal, fold it in, throw it in your barrel. Nobody's going to probably be in that barrel. We're just going to dump it out when we go to the scrap metal place. But I still want to do that. You might drop something in that barrel and have to reach down in there, and then you got that point right in your finger. So careful. Safety is important when you're working with this stuff. If I don't get cut at least twice a day, there's something wrong when I'm working with this. And that's wearing gloves and being careful. And I've been doing this for 20-some years, but you still, stuff happens. But you got to be as careful as you can. So don't cause an accident by leaving a sharp piece in your barrel like that. That looks good there. That looks good there. So now we got this piece we already made out. And I'm going to trace this out, and then I'll hold it up where you can see what it turned out like. It's relatively simple. And like I said, most people that do this kind of work, metal fabrication, they understand this usually. I'm just trying to reach out to the people that might be starting out on this and not done a lot of it, just to kind of give you an idea. So there's your offset. Let me get the camera back a little bit. Okay, here's your offset. So this is where we're going to end up with our ductwork. Right now it's going to be up here, but we got to drop it down to get below some pipe and things that are in our way up here, up the road a little ways. So you can make this as long and short as you want. I could come back here and cut it right there. Just so you want at least, you want at least 2 inches here. You don't want to cut too close because you got to get that transition into your ductwork. So never go less than 2 to 3 inches. Now, if I knew that long piece needed to be that long, that'd be great. But I don't think I do need that much. So I'm just going to cut it back here. I think I said 3 on that one. Wherever your point is, go to 3. Go to 3. Check it for square. Make sure it's running square. And sometimes my cuts don't allow me to run it square. That was a little off. So we're going to mark that right there. Actually ended up about 3 1/8, but all that sometimes does that in that when you're trying to angle that. So I'm going to come up here. You want at least 2, remember. Well, at least 2 here. This is where you're going to put it into the ductwork. So you want a little bit of room there to deal with the ductwork. So we're just going to, we don't even have to measure it. You know, it can be whatever we want. All right, so we're gonna cut that. I don't know if y'all's shop's as bad as mine, but it's pretty piled up right now. We've been really busy for, well, really ever since the spring started. It stays pretty busy anyway, but you know how it is. Everybody wants to install and they want it now. So just go from one to the other all the time. All right, so flip it. Remember what I said, a short piece that you're cutting, always to your left. It just cuts easier. You can do it the other way, but you're going to struggle, especially if you're using a whole sheet and you're cutting something off the end of it. So always to the left on your cut. Whatever you're cutting off of it, to the left. And it'll always be easier for you. You can lift that up easier. You can see I'm not going all the way down with my shears until I get to the end. That keeps that smooth, and that's our transition. Now I'll update this a little bit when I do the rest of it. Right there is all we need. We just need to get that ductwork coming downhill about 8 inches and starting back down. So we got a pattern here. We just marked a pattern with it. So all we're going to do is put this back in place where it was. I like to use patterns because you have more of a chance, even if it's a little wrong, you have a lot better chance of having it more uniform. You try to remeasure that and do all that again, more than likely you're not going to be as accurate with your measurement as you were on the first one. So we're just going to do this. That's already marked out, already done that. So I just shortened it so we don't have to have a real long piece of this. And then I'll cut this out, and then I'll update this later. Right now it's about 7 to 8 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure what time it is, but I've been at it all day. I want to just show you a little bit about that transition, how to do it. I'll finish this up later, and I'll also do a video on it so you can see how this turns out and how I finished it up. And we'll check out later on with you guys, and appreciate you checking in on my channel. Hey, good morning guys. The next day, I'm feeling a little more refreshed. I'm going to try to finish this offset that we were working on yesterday. Pouring the rain outside. I like when it's raining, we can still be productive, and that's good. I mean, if I have to work out in the rain, I will, but if I don't, I won't. So, always good to have some inside work. I don't always plan it that way, but it's good to have it inside work to do when it's raining. Alright, so we're going to, let me get my gloves. My phone won't work with gloves. Alright, so we're back on this piece that we were working on yesterday. Just going to cut this second piece out that I traced out. Yeah, I may fast forward some of this because I know you've already seen this and I don't want to bore you to death. We're going to cut this out. I want to go ahead and cut this piece out. And then we'll do our quarter mark, bend it, and then I'll get back on here so you're not bored. Be right back. Okay guys, as promised, I got it together. Let's see if I can get you a little further back picture here. So this is, let me get back here. This is what turned out to be our offset. It's 8-inch offset. So if I was to measure from here down to level would be 8 inches. So that's going to go underneath our pipe that's in our way. And that's the offset. Hey guys, alright, we're finishing up this, remember we already done the transition. This was the 90, let me get you so you can see. This is the 90 we were working on. It's 22 is what our duct's coming off one side, and then 18 on the other side. We got to turn and do some things underneath the house and miss a bunch of stuff. And this is the turning vanes that I installed, and they're not put in there yet. They just, I think you just cut your height on these little pieces of metal. I bend mine, I don't know if you can see that, I bend mine over ½ inch on both sides of my turning vane. Makes a nice, smooth, safe edge. It also keeps it quieter. So I don't know if you've ever played a saw, but if you run a lot of air across something, sometimes you can get the wrong effect. So this just installs right in here in my 90. And that's it. And then we'll put some screws in that. That's what it should look like inside. Keeps your air going in one direction. You don't hit that and then start swirling, and you want to try to keep as little friction as you can in your ductwork. So that will help. And that's also code. So appreciate you guys coming along with me today. Hope you're having a great Tuesday where you are. My hair looks like I don't know why. I got fans going everywhere. But it's been raining here, so it was a good day to get in here and make some fittings. Tomorrow we'll be on a job. We're going to do some work on a rooftop real quick, and then we're going to go put some of these fittings in and run some ductwork. So I might do some filming there for you if you like. And thank you all for checking in on my channel. Please like and subscribe if you would. And